Welcome back, beautiful people. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, Zashami's Kitchen. And for those who haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe and leave me a thumbs up at the end of the video. So today we're going to make these amazing, very fluffy and delicious cinnamon rolls with the simplest ingredients that you have in your kitchen. So let's get baking. So we're going to start by prepping our baking tray, and because cinnamon rolls are very sticky, because when the sugar melts it sticks at the bottom, so we need something that will help it not to stick, and we're going to use a parchment paper or the baking paper. So we prep that and leave it aside. So first step, we're going to make our dough. You're going to need 3/4 cups of milk, warm milk, and then sugar. We need warm milk because yeast is a living thing, it's a fungi, and it needs optimal temperatures to rise, and also it needs sugar. It feeds on sugar because it's a living thing. So you need the sugar and you need the warm milk, and then we're going to need melted margarine. For me, I'm going to use margarine. Other people will use butter, but because I like to simplify my recipes, I used margarine because margarine, so many people have it in the house and it's cheaper. So you're going to need that, and then you're gonna add your yeast and then leave it aside for some time. Like you're gonna leave it aside to rest, cover and leave it to rest for like 15 minutes. For that will show you if your yeast is okay or it's stale. And then the second step is making our filling. Our filling, we're going to need the sugar and we're going to need the cinnamon. That's what we call cinnamon rolls, because we need the cinnamon. So for these you'll make the sugar. If you have the brown sugar, the better, but if you do not have the brown sugar, you can add the sugar, the white sugar, and the cinnamon rolls, and a little bit of vegetable oils. This is a trick that I use to brown the sugar, and then when it heats it becomes a very nice brown color. So like that, you mix with just a little bit of vegetable oil. So our yeast mixture is ready. You see it has started forming the bubbles. That means that when it feeds on the sugar, it forms some bubbles. That shows your yeast is okay. So we're going to add our egg and mix that. You need to mix it well to make sure everything is incorporated well. And then we're going to bring in our all-purpose flour. For this recipe, I did 3 cups of flour. You can double it or like half it, depending on how many cinnamon rolls you want. So I did 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Then you mix that with your Mwiko, because at this point it is very, very sticky. So until it hardens and then becomes easy on your hand, that's when you start kneading with your hand. So you can use your spatula or your Mwiko, anything that you have in your kitchen to make your work easy. Now we start using our hand, because the wet ingredients has already mixed with the dry ingredients, so it's easy to knead with your hand. We don't over knead, because we don't want to form gluten. The gluten will make your rolls to become very hard and tough, and that's not what you want. So you just need a little bit, and then I add 2 tablespoons of melted margarine. And then you need a little bit, just enough to make the margarine and the dough mix well. You just don't overdo it, because we don't want to form the gluten. We want our cinnamon rolls to be very fluffy and to be very nice, very soft and tender. So you need everything is well incorporated. The margarine is okay in the dough. We're going to form a ball, and then we're going to cover. Make sure we cover and in optimal, very in warm temperatures. You can that's why we cover, because we want it to rise. So we cover and let it rest for 1 hour. So it has risen. It's after 1 hour. You see our dough has risen. That means the yeast is very much okay. Then we need a little bit on a clean surface. form into our ball, ready to be rolled out. So you sprinkle some flour because we don't want our dough to stick. So you'll sprinkle just a little bit of flour, and then we roll into a rectangular shape. Not too thin, not too wide. Like we just don't want it to, just want it to be enough to be rolled into the cinnamon rolls. If you're good at it, you'll get the rectangular shape, but if you're struggling like I do sometimes, so you can cut that out. That's the inches we want, not too thin, not too wide, or too, what we call it, too fat. Not too wide, yeah. So I cut that, and you don't throw what you cut, because for me, I just roll the sugar inside. You'll see what I'll do. You'll see what I'll bake. You don't throw that away. I'll just put the sugar, the filling that we made, and then I make into very nice, beautiful croissant-like rolls. You can snack at that later. So we apply our margarine before applying our filling. Some do oil, but I prefer margarine because it melts very nice in your mouth. So you apply margarine, make sure that you've coated it well, and then now we do our filling. You see how our filling has become very brown, like a little bit brown. So if you have brown sugar, the better. So I didn't have brown sugar, that's why I did the oil to brown it. So you fill everywhere. Make sure it's well coated, the dough is well coated with you fill it very well, all corners. Now we start the rolling. Just roll it, make sure the filling is intact. Roll it very nice, carefully not to spill the filling. Then at the end you want to close that, because you don't want like after cutting for it to open. So you make sure to pinch the ends. You pinch the ends for the dough to close. Now the cutting, you want a neat end, so you remove the ends. You just cut a little bit at the end because you want neat ends. Just for me, some people just cut it, but for me I like the ends to be seen, both sides. So I just remove a little bit, and you just don't throw that. You'll still bake and you'll snack on it later. So I use a thread. You can use a knife, but I find the thread gives me a very neat work. You see, it doesn't close the ends, so it gives you a very neat where the sugar, the filling can be seen. So you use the thread because it's thin and it gives you a very nice cut. You can use your knife if you have a very sharp knife. So our rolls have been cut there. They are ready to be baked. So you line out. I told you the cinnamon rolls are very sticky. So if I also always want to apply a little bit of oil or the margarine on the parchment paper still. So it makes my work very easy because sometimes they stick. the sugar melts and it sticks at the bottom and becomes a little bit messy. So you proof that for 30 minutes. You want them to rise a little bit before baking. So they've risen, you see the size has increased. So they are ready, but you can brush that with your milk or the egg wash. For me, I prefer milk because I don't like a lot of eggs on my cinnamon rolls. So yeah, you bake at 180 degrees Celsius for 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, and there we have our cinnamon rolls ready and yummy, ready to be munched. So you can do your toppings, or your filling, what do you call it, your toppings. Yeah, some do the cream cheese. For me, I just did a whipped cream just to beautify them and just make them a little bit yummy and beautiful. So yeah, I just whipped some cream and then I decorated that with it. And there we have it, very yummy. Kindly try that out and then leave me a comment. Tell me how you liked the recipe, how it came out. You can share. There goes what I didn't throw out. So kindly subscribe and like and leave me a comment. Thanks for watching.